Countdown, okay?
Do we go on one?
Yeah, 3, 2, 1. So we're going to pause for a quick photo. Eyes forward.
Excellent, good. This is going to last as long as the coin. Excellent, beautiful.
The coin is meant to commemorate a key milestone for the LGBTQ2+ communities.
We're proud that it's the first in the world to recognize the challenges that the LGBTQ2 communities has gone through. And like the dollar that it's on, the more equality that we have, the richer we all are.
But some community members aren't happy with the coin because they say there is still work to be done.
Well, we're glad that the government is recognizing in the form of this coin some of the steps that have come along in the continuum of progress, but we want them to understand that there's still a lot of work to be done.
Kate McDonald is an activist in the LGBTQ2+ community and says there is still inequality within the government.
It's still hard for trans folks to get a job, and you still see hate crimes happening all over the place. In 2017, there was a serial killings that took place in the Toronto Gay Village. We didn't see a whole lot happen there. There's still a lot of education within schools and curriculum that can be happening.
Other community members say they should have been consulted on ideas to commemorate the 50 years, and a coin doesn't cut it.
Take that money and, disperse it among the communities that are actually trying to bring about these changes.
What we really want from this government are investments in programming that help lift up those who are marginalized in our community. So particularly queer, Black, Indigenous, and people of color, they could really use the assistance in the form of programming to help even the playing field.
The coins are now in circulation and will be distributed across the country. Whitney Michael, Global News, Halifax.
All right, Shalom. I want to begin this lesson by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shah, Wahar, Rakah, Quadash, which in the ancient Hebrew tongue would be the correct names of the Heavenly Father, His beloved Son, and the Holy Spirit. I also would like to give double honors to my teachers, the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much due honors and respect to the sincere brethren out there that's also laboring in this work. And as always, want to say shalom to the believers, the Akim as well as the Aqua, which would be you brothers along with the sisters that subscribe to this truth as well. So yeah, what you just saw in the opening clip was nothing more than of an indictment against the so-called white man. And further proof, if you will, that this man is indeed the wicked that the Bible speaks of. When you read the Holy Scriptures with understanding, what you come to find out is the Bible actually spotlights, identify and target the wicked, because there's been somewhat of a disconnect, if you will, or smoke screen concerning the idea of wickedness. Yeah, you can commit wicked acts, you can do wickedly, but the Bible pinpoints the wicked, the root and the source of wickedness. And the paper trail goes back to none other than the so-called white man, which you're not going to find that phrase in the Holy Scriptures, the so-called white man. Neither will you find, Americans or Russians, Australians, Germans. But what you are going to find is Esau, which is the progenitor of the nation of Edom. And that will be the true identity of you so-called white people. That's your true nationality according to the Holy Bible. You are the Edomites, man. And according to the scriptures, wickedness, would swarm around you devils, man. Esau and wickedness will go hand in hand. Why? Because he's actually the wicked that the Bible speaks of. And everything that you see taking place here on the planet Earth, the source of that wickedness, if you will, the springboard that propels that wickedness throughout the world is Esau, the so-called white man. Matter of fact, let me start off real quick right here in the book of Hebrews, the 12th chapter, in the 16th verse. It says, "Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau." Yeah, meaning this guy is the pinnacle, you know. He's the measuring stick, if you will, when it comes to wickedness, man. And it tells you that in the book of Malachi, the 1st chapter, how Esau would be called the border of wickedness, man. See? So this guy's the standard when it comes to wickedness. See? Again, it says, "Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright." Yeah, so if you just read this scripture for the first time, or if you haven't got the memo, if you're not familiar with the teachings of Israel, and mainly over here at Great Millstone, then this should pique your interest, man. You should ask yourself, who the hell is Esau? And when you go into the research, you'll see that this man is the wicked, all right? And when you filter, the wickedness that you see playing out here on the planet Earth today, then without a doubt, undoubtedly, you should be able to connect the dots. That this is the man that was prophesied to be set up here in the latter days and who would push out that vibration of wickedness, man. When you understand, the state of the planet Earth, this is the worst case scenario, all right? You got homosexuals and trannies, man, running rampant. Who have heard of such a thing, But why is that? Because the so-called white man, the wicked himself, is in power. Now, when the scriptures say, "Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau," now when you go into that word profane, those of you in the know, you should understand that word. It pretty much means outside of the temple, okay? Meaning this man is not in harmony with righteousness, the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Now, when you go into that word fornicator, because the scripture says, "Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau," when you go into the word fornicator, which I got queued up right here, let's get the pronunciation real quick in the Greek.
Strong's G 4205. Parnas. Parnas.
Now I'm going to go right to the point. It says, "A man who indulges in unlawful sexual intercourse," a fornicator. See? A man who indulges in unlawful sexual intercourse, a fornicator. Now, what makes you a fornicator? Indulging in unlawful sexual intercourse, man. Which that falls under the guise of being a fornicator. Now, what makes this unlawful? Because it's a direct offense against the law, man, of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. That's why it's known as unlawful sexual intercourse. So when you write laws and legislations into play that men can marry other men and they have the jurisdiction and the liberty to lay down with other men, as well as these women, they're able to lie with other women and marry other women, then that's considered an unlawful sexual intercourse. And again, the reason why it's unlawful, because it's in direct offense mode. It's a direct attack against the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Okay? And let's get the law. This is the book of Leviticus, the 20th chapter, and the 13th verse. It says, "If a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination." See, and that's plain right there. Let's read this again. "If a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination." Yeah, and guess what? The so-called white man, they know about this law. Matter of fact, we're going to go back there, but let me grab some real quick in the book of Psalms, the 50th chapter. This is Psalms, the 50th chapter. And starting at the 16th verse, it says, "But unto the wicked the Most High saith," yeah, and again, the wicked is the so-called white man, okay? There's an actual nation that's the wicked. And this shouldn't be such a hard concept to digest. This shouldn't be a hard idea to grasp. See? Because again, when you consider the works of this man, then there you have it. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me grab something else real quick come to mind. Because it's not like we just nitpicking, you know. We examining and assessing this man according to his works. And that's what the scriptures told us to do. All right? This is the book of Matthew, the 12th chapter, and starting at the 35th verse. It says, a good man out of the good treasure of the heart bringeth forth good things. And an evil man out of the evil treasure bringeth forth evil things. Yes, so you have to be straight up evil, you know, to mint a coin commemorating homosexuality, man, and transgenders. That means, you know, out of the treasure of your heart, you're bringing forth evil things because you evil, man. When you write laws and legislations on the books celebrating homosexuals, especially when you know that the law, statutes, and commandments forbid such a thing, yet you go ahead and do it anyway, that means you evil. And out of the treasures of your heart is coming evil things. Again, it says, a good man out of the good treasure of the heart bringeth forth good things, and an evil man out of the evil treasure bringeth forth evil things. So back in the book of Psalms, the 50th chapter, and starting at the 16th verse, but unto the wicked, the Most High saith, the so-called white man, that's the wicked, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Yes, so in reality, the so-called white man shouldn't even be handling this book, man. You know, you got these devils who come in the form of pastors and preachers, Kenneth Copeland and, you know, Joel Osteen, these Edomites, you know, who claim to build a foundation off the scriptures. But Yahweh Shem Shai is saying, who are you to, you know, declare my statutes, man? You know, or take my covenant in your mouth. Verse 17, seeing thou hatest instruction. And we just read instruction in the book of Leviticus, the 20th chapter, in the law, man, where it clearly states, if a man lieth with mankind like he lieth with a woman, they have both committed an abomination, and they shall surely be put to death. See? Again, it says, seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee. See? And castest my words behind thee. So these devils, they know the law. Okay? The scriptures tell you how these devils is wiser than Daniel. And they perform a diligent search. So you mean to tell me these devils, they have the technology to seek out, you know, the things in the ocean? You see these different documentaries on damn ants, man. You know? You watch the National Geographic channel. These devils, they be lurking, man. You know, they search out all matters. So you mean to tell me they don't know the scriptures? Of course they do, man. Yet they cast the words of Yahweh Shem Shai behind them. See, again, it says, seeing thou hatest instruction, see, and castest my words behind thee. And in order for you to cast some away, you have to first have it in your hand. And these devils is guilty of that. You know, they swear in on the Bible, these judges, these president inaugurations, they swear on the Bible. See? So you guilty, man. This is more of an indictment on you, okay? So going back to Leviticus, the 20th chapter and the 13th verse again, it says, if a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. Yes, so why isn't these homosexuals being put to death? As the law tells you. Because the so-called white man is against the law, man. Okay? He's the wicked. And he actually celebrates homosexuals. You know, you got this guy, Bruce Jenner, who came out as being a transgender. And this guy was on the front of every magazine, every major magazine out there. They celebrated this guy. He became an American hero, a folk hero. He became an icon, man. See? Why? Because the so-called white man is not about righteousness. He's about wickedness. And again, his fruits, his works testify against him. So it's not like we just nitpicking with the man. We pretty much putting the spotlight on him. And that's the time we're in. We're in a time where wickedness is being overthrown. You know, and the lies and deception, you know, that have been behind that shroud of darkness and secrecy is being exposed. Matter of fact, let me get a quick precept because this was prophesied to happen. All right. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter, and starting at the 27th verse. It says, "For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched." See? So we're in a time where evil is being put out, and deceit is being quenched, which have been a wildfire, man, ever since this man have come into power. But when you read the book of, what's that, St. John, the 7th chapter, and the 38th verse, it tells you how this word is like rivers of living waters. So we quenching, we putting out that fire of lies, man. All right? Verse 28, "As for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared." And this is a form of that truth being declared, exposing the so-called white man, you see, and identifying and targeting him as the wicked that the Bible speaks of. And it's not like, we don't have any grounds to stand on, as if this is something without substance. We nitpicking. We just a band of disgruntled so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who, are venting against our oppressors, and we're using the Bible, as the source or the platform. No, the scriptures pretty much is the guide or the blueprint where we filter everything through it, and we come to the conclusion that the so-called white man is the wicked. That's just like when concerning the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We know due to the curses that we are the Israelites. It tells you that these curses shall be upon you as a sign and a wonder. So due to the curses, us coming over here as cargo and ships, our women being raped and ravished, men hung, beaten, you building vineyards and houses and not enjoying the fruit. Well, those are all the curses that was written concerning the true children of Israel. So due to the curses, the things written in the scriptures, we are able to come to the conclusion that we are indeed the biblical Israelites. And it's no different when identifying and targeting the wicked, man. We read the scriptures and we read concerning the wicked acts and the deeds of the wicked. And we come to the conclusion that without a doubt, unanimously, this man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Matter of fact, this is the book of 1 Maccabees, the 1st chapter, and the 7th verse. It says, "So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died." And you all know who Alexander is, man. Alexander the Great, as coined by a lot of these historians, and from just the casual researcher out there, you have heard of this guy, Alexander the Great, which really he's known as Alexander the Greek, And the Greeks is who? So-called white people, man. All right? So keep that in mind. It says, "So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth." And evils were multiplied in the earth. So the scriptures is giving you the source, if you will, to the wickedness and the evils that has multiplied on the planet Earth. This is when that seed was planted, if you will. Because, Esau has always been around, but he didn't have the power, to push forth his legislations. See? But once, they put crowns on them, on their heads, then that's when wickedness, began to take root. And to what you see today, that wickedness has multiplied to what you see today. Matter of fact, this is the book of Psalms, the 37th chapter, and the 35th verse. It says, "I have seen the wicked," I have seen the wicked in great power and spreading himself like a green bay tree. Yes, so we just read when the seed was planted, then those evils began to multiply into the time we in now. That wickedness have sprouted into a great tree. Again, it says, "I have seen the wicked in great power and spreading himself like a green bay tree." See, so now we're in a time where wickedness has ran its course. And the reason why the scriptures compare the so-called white man and his reign to a green bay tree and that spreading itself, just say, you know, you can have a neighbor and he might have a certain tree. Maybe it's a plum tree. Now, if that tree grow big enough and his branches extend over to your yard, then guess what? You'll be able to pluck from the fruit of that tree, should I say, without even going into his yard. So that's the same with America. America and its influence has branched out throughout the world. So you don't even have to come to America to be persuaded by the philosophies of America. See, you can go out to these different countries and they are conducting themselves like the average American. Why? Because that wickedness have spread it out and branched out throughout the world. See? So this man's deeds is an indictment against him. Okay, everything this man do is contrary to the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. All right? Matter of fact, let me grab some real quick because there's no way you can rehabilitate this man. He was created to be the wicked, you know, and it is what it is. It's the book of Job, the 14th chapter, the 4th verse. It says, who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one. Yeah, so you can't bring nothing clean out of something that's unclean. For an example, pork. A pig is unclean by nature. Now, you got a lot of people out there that say, you know, if you cook the pig right, then, you know, you can make it clean. No, man, you can't bring a clean thing out of an unclean. See? And that's the same with the so-called white man. So this man was set up to be the wicked, and that's why you see, you know, certain things transpiring here on the planet Earth. All right, like you just saw in the opening clip. These devils minting a coin to commemorate homosexuals and transgenders, man. Only the wicked will come up with that. And just another quick point before we close. This proves that these the same devils from the ancient Roman Empire, because when they sacked the temple, they minted coins commemorating it, you know? So this is how these devils get down. You know, it's all a part of their pride and their triumph, you know, their delusional idea and perception of triumph. So these devils actually believe that they have triumphed, you know, by them commemorating, you know, transgenders and homosexuals by way of minting a coin. Hey, these devils is proud as all hell, man, okay? And that's what they did in the ancient Roman Empire when they took down Israel. You know, they minted a coin to commemorate that act. So, you know, you devils is boxed off, man. You are the wicked that the Bible speaks of, and only a matter of time before the Lord brings swift judgment, you know. Right now, what you're witnessing is court. You know, court is in session, and this man is guilty on all charges. So, yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. Lord willing, it was edifying. Till the next time I say shalom.